Welcome to another episode of the Multifamily Collective. Today, let's talk about ethics. But let's do it by way of asking a question. What is the legacy that you want to leave in the multifamily industry or business at large or in your community or in even your own household? What kind of legacy do you want to leave, or what do you want to be remembered for? In the business context, do you want to be remembered for putting profits over principles? Or maybe just the opposite. You want to be known for or remembered for putting your principles over your profits. And as hard as it is to sometimes make that decision, it's sad to say it's hard to make that decision, or you get conflicted. Even the act of being conflicted over putting profits over principles in some ways might be cutting against your integrity or your personal integrity or your business integrity. But I think it's human, but I think it happens more times than we would like to admit. But if you want to be remembered for putting principles over profits, that is certainly something that will play into leaving a good legacy in your organization, a good legacy for your life. It really comes down to making sure that ethics in your personal life, ethics in your business are just non-negotiable items. It's just something that you author, that you put into the systems and the processes and the disciplines and routines in your organization, and you live true to them, and they are non-negotiable. It doesn't matter what day of the week it is. It doesn't matter what the stimulus it is that is being put up in front of you, the cause and effects that happen, that little space between that we talked about from time to time when catalyst happens, a little space between that decision you make right there in the middle, that ability for personal choice. It matters. And it matters what you do with that little space between called choice. And if you author good ethics, if you practice good ethics, if you demonstrate good ethics, if you are of good behavior all of the time. I worked with a gentleman in St. Louis, Missouri, he would always say, keep your side of the street clean. And what that read through to me was, hey, practice good ethics, be a good person. Make sure that what you do on your side of the street of true north, so that if anything ever gets questioned in a transaction and anything ever gets questioned in your purview or anything that you have influence or anything you have influence over, you can always point to your side of the street as being clean, as demonstrated by your actions and your behaviors that play out over a long bit of time. You can think of companies like Patagonia in the business world as an example. Patagonia really has strong ethics as it relates to the things they believe in. Whether you believe in them or not, they are very, very steadfast in what they believe to be the right things as it relates to sourcing for materials that go into making up their clothing, or how they will send, I'm going to call them buses or vehicles around that just kind of travel around, and they actually put on days where you can bring your Patagonia wares into be repaired in those places. Instead of buying a new thing, instead of recycling that thing or putting that thing in the trash, coat, whatever it is, piece of clothing, you bring it to this place and they actually repair it for you so that it gets some more life out of the same thing. I think at the end of the day, integrity really builds a loyalty. It certainly builds trust as it relates to leadership. Somebody that acts and behaves in a way that is above board and is true north and keeping their side of the street clean is somebody that others can get behind, others become loyal to, others follow without question because they demonstrate integrity and honesty and good ethics. So my gut tells me that it's a good thing that you just from time to time take a look at the practices, take a look at the outcomes that are happening in your organization, take a look at the practices and the behaviors that get you to those outcomes. And then make sure you understand what the root sort of actions are to create those things, and make sure all of those things are full of integrity, full of good ethics from start to finish. That's probably a good exercise to do on a quarterly basis or on an annual basis in your organization. Take care. We'll talk to you again soon.